Hello and welcome back to Tactical Chilli Wargaming. My name is Patricio, and with me, as always, Charlie. How are you, Charlie?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Missing a lot of things.
Have you
Um,
recovered from teams yet? Back
now,
to normal?
yes. I'm painting again, so back to normal.
Nice.
I'm going to a doubles next this weekend.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm
right.
going to
Yep.
be talking about that probably next time. How it goes is in Hamilton. But today we are back to our original our original series, WTC. And we have today a guest again, one of, I have been told, the oldest or eldest. How's that? Sorry.
Oldest, definitely
Ah,
oldest.
oldest. Okay. Sorry, English is not my first language. Um, Players in Teams format that is still alive
One of the
or is still
pillars
playing.
pillars of the New Zealand 40k
Ah,
community.
that's
The
the one. Okay,
foundation
cool.
of everything we have achieved today.
Let's bring to with us Hayden Courage. Hi Hayden, how are you? Oh, you need to unmute yourself, mate. There
Yeah,
you
it's because I'm so old that I don't know how to use technology. All right, like leave me
Yes,
alone.
yeah.
What do you expect?
Hey,
Yeah, I'm very good, very honoured to be on. Thank you very much. With you
that
young
is
chaps.
yeah. Actually, we are all
We're,
older
we're
than
both older
Hayden.
than Hayden, so we've got to set the record
Yes,
straight. Yeah.
yes, we
Yeah,
want to give you that, Hayden. Thank you for accept the invitation. We know that you like to be in camera, so you are very familiar with this kind of things. You used to do your own, um, I guess, YouTube, or was it YouTube or was
I
only
thought you were going
on
to say live
Facebook?
strip show, but
Well,
uh, if you guys
that's
are paying,
also
I'll do whatever you want. But no, we did so 40 Cabal, which was a podcast, and I've got a page for the radio, so there was no live videos. Um, and then once that came to its natural conclusion, I joined with Finn and Michael, and we had a cracking cast going for a while as well. But life got in the way of that as well. So yeah, we never actually did like what you guys do with the having the faces up and stuff like that. It was our voices were bad enough; they didn't also need to be punished by seeing our faces. So
yes, yeah, no, that's true. I think that's the worst of the problem here. They have to see us all every week. But yeah, it's worse bad enough. But we invited you today to talk about WTC Teams format. As we mentioned, Charlie mentioned, you are one of the um, veterans, let's call it. It's a better word, I think. Is one of the veterans on the format. You
yeah,
play back in the day, dude. I've been playing this stuff since third edition, so I'm nothing but to play for a long time. Being a veteran, um, on the teams format, and that is why. I guess one of the things that we want to talk to you, but also you are going this year on the Team New Zealand that is going to Belgium in a couple of weeks. So that's quite interesting, and there is some question that we would like to ask to you about all of this crazy from the beginning to where you are now.
mm.
Um,
yeah. Shall we kick into the
yeah,
questions?
let's go. Let's do it in order. I wanted to actually, I'm going to comment this. I wanted to do it in a random order just to piss off Jonty, because Jonty was saying that I divagate too much. So it's like, yes, why not? Let's bring the last question first and do it like that. He's also, he's going to start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But Charlie
I'd
did not
appreciate
allow to do that.
it.
Yeah.
No, no. I write the
let's
No,
questions.
let's
Charlie, you're no
Yeah.
fun.
let's go. Charlie,
Well, I mean that
fire out.
what Patricia mentioned was quite interesting. Hayden, you have been playing in the New Zealand community for a long time. Heard your name pre-COVID, and that was way before I started playing in any sort of events. So when did you actually start in the hobby?
Oh no, that's a. So I started playing fantasy back in like the 90s with an Empire Army. And what happened was played Empire all through schooling. And then in 2003, I moved to Auckland, and I was still playing. So I'm not one of these players that was like, and then I went to university and I took a break and decided to be an adult for a while. I was like, nah, bugger that. I'm playing the whole way through. Anyway, so I played in a couple of fantasy tournaments when I was living in Auckland in the early 2000s, and I would come dead last every single time. I had this stupid Beastman army, and it just kept getting absolutely owned. Long story short, ended up moving to a place called Kitty. Probably no one knows where it is. And I moved in with this random guy, he was looking for a flatmate, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, I need a flat. And as I was moving in, he saw my Games Workshop cases, and he's like, do you play Warhammer? And I was like, yeah, I play fantasy. And he was like, that's not going to happen. And I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, I play 40K. And I was like, well, guess I'm learning 40K then. So I started collecting 40K, and as everyone does, I started with a Space Marine army. And he played Fisher Fury Tau.
Wait, is this someone that still plays these days? Do we know this?
No,
person?
his name was Scott Ferguson, and he was possibly one of the best players in New Zealand back then.
Okay.
Yeah, he was extremely good at the game. And anyway, I played him heaps, and he would play almost 2 to 3 times a week, and he'd just beat me and beat me and beat me. And I was like, man, I can't even get close to this guy. So I changed to Eldar, and then I beat him one day, and I was like, ha, it is possible. I was using Falcons with hollow fields and all sorts of, you don't even want to know what the rules were back then because it was so stupid.
Yes.
But anyway, we decided to go to a Fields of Blood in Auckland when they were run by Games Workshop. And we had no idea how good we were, because the only opponent he ever had was me. And the only person I played 40K with was him, and all he played was Tau, and all I played was Marines or Eldar. And he went and won most of his games. He lost one. I won all my games and ended up coming like 2nd or 3rd overall, because I had what we call soft scores back then, so for painting and composition and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
So that was my first. That was me getting into 40K, I guess, and it was. And then from there on, I was like hooked. I was like, I am playing in events, and I haven't stopped playing in events really, apart from 7th edition. I stopped for a little while, and that was mainly because I was just over the game at that point. It was just such a terrible game system.
Yes, I'm with you, Haydn.
Yeah, really did not enjoy it. So just stopped playing for a year or so. But that was it. That's my only break. Yeah.
So we've got Scott to thank for you smashing all of us with Eldar for many, many years.
Yes.
Yeah. By him just absolutely punishing me for years and years. So
just taking it out on us. So is Eldar your favorite faction, or do you have a faction that's close to your heart?
Dark Eldar is probably my favorite faction. So Eldar, but of the dark variety. Yeah, and then obviously just probably Eldari as a whole. I love Harlequins. I love Dark Eldar. Love Eldar, but I'd say that the Drakari or the Dark Elden just don't know what it is about them. They just have a special part, like they're yeah, and they're also my favorite painted army that I own as well. I put a lot of effort into them, so really enjoy them.
That's nice. What is your favorite event in New Zealand, Haydn? Do you have one that you enjoy the most?
Yeah, it's any
Feel
event
free
in
to
Wellington.
plug your own.
Yeah, I know this is bad. Any event in Wellington. I help run events in the North Island, in Auckland. I love going to Wellington. I don't know what it is about that place and going down there. I just love going down there to play Warhammer. Maybe it's because I get to play different people, although I end up playing half my mates half the time anyway. But
just like this year.
yeah, exactly. But I've really enjoyed the increase in teams event in New Zealand. There's something that's been missing from the calendar for, and bearing in mind that I've been in the hobby for a long time, and been playing events in New Zealand for a long time, but it's been missing for such a long time. And to see it growing and that other clubs are picking it up as well and starting to run teams event is just awesome. So I'd have to say NZTC would be my favorite event because I just love that really competitive teams environment. It's just my favorite way of playing 40k, mainly because I can team up with a bunch of guys that I don't normally like playing against and just be like, thank God I don't have to play them at all in the city. And it's perfect. But you know what I mean? Like you go to an event.
You don't want to play Liam. Oh, he's going to be sad.
Yeah, I know. But you go to a singles event and you might be rooming with some people, or you might have booked a hotel, or you might have done a big car trip, or whatever it might have been. And you just end up playing them. And it's like, it's a bit of a downer moment because you're ruining their event or they're ruining your event. You know, and the classic example is old Finn Decker going all the way to LVO last year. You know, flies halfway across the world and plays one of his good mates round 3. It's like, huh.
How are the chances in that actually? But
Yeah.
900 people.
There's 250 something. What are the chances?
Yeah.
So,
and he gets
yeah.
Great. Yeah.
And it happened. But that's why I like teams events. That's why NZTC would be my favorite.
Now, interestingly, in terms of event quality of events, the competitive levels that you're seeing generally across New Zealand now, how does that compare to pre-COVID?
Oh, it's completely different now. So pre-COVID, even going back before,
like pre-2015, probably.
Yeah, like we used to have a lot of what we'd call soft scores. So, you used to get marked. A percentage of your mark was based on how fluffy your list was. I remember running an army that was made up of completely Dire Avengers, and my Wraith Lords were painted up blue because they were the Dire Avengers souls that had been put into the Wraith Lords, and and they all had specific things and tasks, and it was to make sure that I ticked off the paint and the fluff of the list and all this to get extra points there. And then we went through a period as well where we had what we called community comp, and so there was basically a sheet of stuff, and if you took these units, they took composition points off you, and you might start at say 40, and you wanted to try and maintain as a higher comp score as possible. But if you took certain units, it would drop it down, and so you'd end up having a lower score, which meant that even sometimes if you went 5-0, you didn't win the event because somebody with a better comp score who went 4-1 would end better than you. So,
right. Okay.
And what it did is, I think, by removing, comp and sportsmanship and painting from the playing score, so to speak, like the position in the event, the tournament as a whole, I think it's actually been a good thing, because it's, for one part, it's made the game more competitive, and for New Zealand, I should say. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because the people that want to treat it competitive will still treat it competitive even when there were comp scores in place, and they'll just go and try and crush as many people as possible. The people that still want to go to a tournament and just have fun, they can still take the list that they want to take. They just have to have that set expectation in their head that they're not necessarily going to win it, but they might go for other reasons like best presented or best painted or best sport. So there's still plenty of other things to compete for. And I think some people sometimes forget that when they look, especially new people, when they look at competitive events, they probably think it's just a bunch of diehard, people that just want to win at all costs imaginable. But I've actually found that the way we've evolved from pre-COVID and going back even more to now, it's so much more. It's not about gotchas. It's not about trying to screw the system, so to speak. It's way more open. People are very open about what they're trying to achieve with their list. I think it's a way better environment. It's definitely a way better competitive environment, that's for sure. I think when you look at how well New Zealand did at WTC last year, it probably goes to show that we're on the right trajectory and we're doing a really good thing here. So,
no, that's awesome. No, we just had a good comp score, mate.
Did they have comp scores at WTC? Damn it, we're missing it this year.
No, that's really interesting, because I've actually personally never played in an event like that. But I remember at Kraken GT last year, you guys had the Renaissance Man Award, which was combination of placing, painting, and best sport. And I think Charles won that one, which was really amazing to see. And it was just such a big award for someone that enjoys all aspects of the hobby, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that I think we'll continue putting into the Kraken GT, because it does give people an incentive to play for something else. So, if you don't want to go, even if you're just not, not going to compete. Like for me, I might be going, hey, my Eldars, the armies that I have, they're just not the top of the meta picks at the moment.
Yep.
So maybe I'll go for a Nascence Man instead and try and touch up my models so they're looking really nice.
Yep.
Be a really good sport. And then just, because in my opinion, getting Renaissance Man or getting Best Painted is the equal of getting first place overall in the tournament. In fact, I'd say Best Presented is even, in my opinion, a higher level than first place, because
it is very difficult to get it.
Yeah,
you need to put a lot of work
hard.
and effort on that.
Yeah. And painting is it's a learned skill, and it's something you really have to work at to be good. And I think you have to actually work at that more than necessarily playing the game well. So, not saying that playing the game well isn't a skill that you have to learn as well, but yeah.
Well, you can't just roll a bunch of 4-ups for painting and win games, right?
Exactly.
Well, that is playing Custodes.
Yeah. Yes. So you mentioned paint. Are you a bit of a hobbyist as well as a competitive player?
I pretend to be a hobbyist, I suppose. I take pride in the work I do. Like, I would not say that my models are badly painted by any stretch. Some of them are probably a bit dated now because they've been around for 20, 30 years. But
I mean, they still haven't gotten new models, right? So
yeah, exactly. Like when the Warp Spiders actually get new models, I'll update them.
Yeah.
But like my Dark Elder are reasonably well painted.
Yeah.
I spend a bit of time painting every night. I'm not a converter. It's not something I do.
Right.
But I love sitting down and doing painting. It's just a great way to chill out at the end of it.
So, on a scale of 1 to Michael Taylor, where would you say you are?
We should do a scale of a Finn Decker to Michael Taylor, because Finn is an absolute potato at hobby.
Yep. That is a great suggestion. We'll use that scale from now on.
I reckon I'd be like around a 6, 7. Like if I want to put in the effort, like I've got some models where I really wanted to put the effort in, and they look really nice. But what I find I do now is I tend to go, oh shit, I've got a tournament coming up. I need to get XYZ painted quick. So.
Yep. Well, I've got 70 marine bodies waiting for me to paint in 2 weeks.
Good.
Battle ready is all I strive for.
I've got 25 aspect warriors.
You got a bit more time. So I guess changing track to the WTC side, what made you want to apply for the team this year and travel all the way to Belgium? Spend all your retirement money playing War Dollies.
Yeah, pretty much. All my retirement money gone. No, lifelong goal, lifelong dream.
Yeah.
Have always wanted to do it. Like it's always been on the bucket list to do. And I guess the timing worked really well for me this year. Me and my wife are already planning on going to Europe anyway for our 40th. So it's our 40th this year.
Wedding anniversary?
Yeah, wedding anniversary. Yep, 40th wedding anniversary. I'm looking really good for my age.
Yep, absolutely.
And so we're already planning on doing a trip, and then obviously this came up as well. And like I would have loved to have gone last year, but I'd already spent my money on LVO.
That's right.
And so I was, so I could, which was another bucket list item for me, going to that. So I was stoked to get across to that, but this, and then, so I just chucked my name in for either coach or player position. I'm still not big brained or big headed enough to think that I'd automatically fall into a player position if I applied. So, put in for both player and coach, and was very thankful to get selected as a player. So,
it's awesome to have you on the team. This question I didn't write down, but how many factions have you been swapped onto before just going back to your first love there during the training and prepping process?
Elder, Death Guard.
Chaos
And
Knight.
after Death Guard, Chaos Knights.
Did you play Chaos Knight at our event?
Botan.
Yes.
There's another one in there as well. Demons. For a very brief time.
That's
To have
right.
a look at.
I remember your demons. You bad touched quite a few people at Ascension with your demons years back.
Yeah. So Jakari, sorry, there's Jakari as well, pure Jakari. So 6, including Elder. So yeah, 5.
Yeah.
5 other ones, and then back to Elder.
No pure Harlequins.
No, that didn't cross the.
They didn't make the cut.
Oh,
They didn't make the cut.
I got asked to have a look at Tau for a second as well, but I didn't. I was like, we've got plenty of other Tau players on the team.
Yeah. We've got 2 other power players. Yeah. That didn't make sense. No. Yeah. So, any personal goals or expectations for the trip?
So, in terms of personal goals, love to just basically not let the team down. No, I've got a goal of, if I'm saying that I'm going to get X amount of points into a list, that I'm going to try my best to get those points, and my goal would be to get those points across the games. Now I know that there's going to be games where, Haydn, you got Nick Nanavati. It says here that against his list you're going to get a 12, so on you go, boy. And I may not get a 12. Now, I know for a fact that, this is a big ocean out there, and I'm a very small fish. And us being down here in New Zealand, we just don't get the same exposure, I guess, to the super competitive events like they get over in Europe and the United States. So, if I can, I just don't want to, I guess, I don't want to let the team down. I want to make sure I score as well as I can. And I know there will be some anomalies out there. Like, I'm not going to, my data is always going to reflect the list, not the player. And I just know that there's going to be players out there that will absolutely dick me. and that's fine. Like, that is fine.
There are players here that will do that to you, so don't worry about
it. Exactly. And I mean, it must be
the
like,
same game.
If Georgia goes up against the All Blacks, they want the win, right?
Yeah.
And they'll probably have some goals about, if we can just score a try, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And then they get thumped like 90-0.
Yeah.
But like but my other one is that I just want to make sure that any opponent I play thinks that New Zealanders are really chill and good people. Like, that would be it. I just don't want to I want to make sure that our team name is really solid and good. I hate to see our reputation tarnished, especially if it was anything I did. Like, I'd be so gutted, and I don't think it will. But
absolutely,
So I'll be making sure I hold myself to a very high standard over there.
I think we were. I can't remember. Were we close to getting best sports last year? I think we were in the final 2. So I think overall, generally, New Zealand has a very good, positive attitude when it comes to playing 40K.
Good. Yeah.
How have you found sort of the journey thus far, the preparations, your personal practice and getting everything ready? You excited? Nervous?
I've got to learn a lot of factions. So there's been that, which has actually been really good. Like, as annoying and as frustrating as it has been to not be able to lock a faction early. That's just the nature of the game in this day and age, like with the data slates changing every 3 months, the rules, all that stuff happening, and it just keeps throwing everything up into the air. It has actually been quite nice being able to just research armies and see what would be a good fit. Because I've got to learn a lot about other factions. Like, I did a really good dive into Votan, and I really enjoyed playing them. To the point where when Finn goes, do you want to take Eldar or do you want to take Votan? I was seriously like, Eldar are my babies, like, and I was like, oh man, but Votan, they're pretty damn good. Like,
Yeah, they
I
have.
played
They
them.
have.
I played them at one event, and the results weren't too bad for someone that has just picked this faction up.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
But yeah, I guess the frustration has also been is that unknown. But I've got to keep reminding myself that that's not just for me. That's probably the same for several members in every single team across the world.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
and it's just got to keep reminding yourself of that. And the fact is that I have fallen back onto my elder, and I know that come, Saturday, Sunday, when fatigue's starting to set in, and we've had some long days and all the rest of it, like
The muscle memory will
I
kick in,
know,
right? The
yeah,
familiarity.
I know my faction, and I know that I'll just deploy them on the line. They're all toughness 3 with 5-up and vulnerable saves, and just say, take them off as fast as you can so I can go have a lie down.
Fantastic. I'll bring a yoga mat for you, buddy.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
That's the way.
That's funny.
Yoga mats, man.
Yeah.
Yoga mats.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, because with Pariah Nexus, the balanced data slate, 2 new books, it is a bit of a new state of play for us all. And I know quite a few people on the team were still in between factions up until as recent as maybe a week and a half ago, and definitely between detachments and things like that. So, but then I saw what you did to people in our practice games with Elder, and it's when Hayden's back.
Yeah, it was because that was basically the day that we confirmed that I was going to go back onto Elder, and I was like, all right, here we go.
I really want to see that list, Hayden. I'm waiting until the lists are open because I'm really keen to see what you're bringing there.
It's not any secret. It's basically Yanari, so it's Urane.
Hold on. We can't publicly talk about the list yet.
Can't I talk about Mike? Because I'm using it on War Masters.
No, because it goes live in 3 days, I think.
Oh my god.
22nd. Yeah, 22nd.
Yeah, 22nd.
Don't
look
worry.
Up,
I will
look up Liam VSL's Elder list.
Didn't you change a piece of war gear to make it yours?
No, I changed it.
Haydn VSL's original list.
Hey, look, I designed this list.
Yeah,
it's yours. It's your baby. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
But that makes sense. I will wait. I'm a patient person, so don't worry. It's good to know. Well, it's good to know that the Pariah Nexus, I don't know if it's good to know, but the Pariah Nexus, as you said, impact everybody. The balance data slates also did the same, and that put your trip up and down, I guess. But it's good to know that you got finally there, and you are in a faction that you like, you love, which I think makes sometimes, and you enjoy more your games when you're playing something that you really like. Make it easy sometimes also. Charlie puts a question to everybody is the same. I'm going to. It's what about the burgers with blue cheese? Is a yay or a nay for you?
Has to be a yeah.
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 All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I hate blue cheese by itself, but you put it in something.
Yeah.
I'm down for it. Yeah. I'm down for it. As long
double
like
Angus fillet melted into cheddar. Bro.
How much blue cheese are we talking here? Like
a solid chunk.
Okay.
Beer on tap. Belgian beer on tap.
Don't worry, Hayden.
Done with that.
Burger with blue cheese, it is good. Doesn't matter how much it is good.
Yeah,
I can vouch for that.
A restaurant in called Chow in Wellington, and they do blue cheese dumplings. Oh.
Yeah, that's a no for me. I'm a dumpling purist.
Yes.
No, Charlie, you'll do them. I'm going to take you there. You're doing it.
Chives only. Pork and chives only.
Pork and chives.
I'm a basic bitch when it comes to dumplings.
Okay, you're a purist dumpling eater.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Made by Gramna, or I'm not eating it. No.
Slack.
Go, Patricia.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. What will you say to others that to encourage them to give the team a go, the team format, um, or if they want to in the future apply to Team New Zealand? What you will say to to them, or person with your experience um, on the team format?
I've got a really good story for this actually, but so in terms of just general community stuff, like I think, you know, get get a couple of mates together and form a team and start going to some teams events. Um, for starters, like I said earlier, you don't have to play your friends as much. Like, yeah, you might play in a group of your friends, right? Like, I've got enough friends in the community now. It doesn't seem to matter what team I play. There's going to be friends within those things, but it's just, I don't know. Teams to me just seems like such a more enjoyable way to play 40k. When you're playing singles or at a singles event, sometimes it's 40k is a little bit like paper scissors rock, and you might have paper, and for the first couple of games you might come up against rock, and then all of a sudden you hit scissors, and there's not much you can do. It's unfortunate reality of the game at some points is that, you know, there are certain builds on certain terrain that will just beat you, and sorry, but that's it. But if you're in a teams event, you can mitigate that by with the pairings, and you know, it might be a losing game. Like, for example, you might know that 9 times out of 10 you lose this game, but you can go, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fight my absolute hardest for every little point, and I'm going to play super conservatively, which I don't normally do, and try and just get out a draw. And if you get out a draw, or even if you do a slight loss, that could be what your team needs to actually win the round overall, and that could be a massive achievement. And so you can actually celebrate losses as well, which is great.
You convert a loss into a win, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if I'm in a team and it's an 8-man teams, and my captain goes to me, Haydn, sorry, I'm throwing you under the bus here, mate. I know that this isn't a good matchup for you, but if you take this matchup off the board, it means that we can open up another 3 players to have really good matchups. I'll go, Spears, throw me in. And he goes, I said, what's my score prediction? And say he turns to me and says, you've got a 3 on here. And I'm like, okay. If I get a 4, so that's, you know, not very many points, but if I just get a 4, that's a win, because I've got 1 point higher than what I should have done according to our data. And that's still getting absolutely thumped. So, you know, and so you can actually enjoy that, because you get into a mindset of like, okay, if I just get this 1 point extra than what I've said, that's a massive victory. How can I do this? You know, and you can, yeah, and then you can come back to your team and be like, yeah, I just did way better than what I said I was going to do, because I got
25%.
I got a 6. Yeah. And
it's also often the point you need, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, oh, how many points did we get? Oh, 56. Well, what is it? 86, right? 86. Oh shit, we got the win. So, yay. Because what you might have done by taking that big loss or the big red is you may have opened up the door for 3 big greens for other members, and they maybe get like an 18, an 18, and an 18. And so therefore, if you don't get a 0, you know, every point you've got above a 0 might be, it swings the match. So yeah. Maths is hard for me, but so about applying for Team New Zealand, my advice is, if you're interested in applying for Team New Zealand, apply for it. Now, if you're super keen to go over there and experience the WTC and all that stuff, but you are realistic in your playing ability, so if you think, you know, you're a good player, but you might just be scratching at the door to be a player, don't be afraid to apply as a player or a coach, because the coach still gets to go over, still gets to play in the WTC, and if one of us falls over sick from eating too many blue cheeseburgers, then you may have to step in and take over as a player anyway. And so you're still getting the full experience of it all. And the coaching people, in my opinion, are just as important as the players, because if they're not there to support the players, we can't do the job that we need to do fully as well. And a funny story around this, around just applying. So when I was captain of Team New Zealand, when we only played in the ANZTC, so this was just for the Australasian thing. I had this person called Finn Decker apply for the team, and I had no idea who this guy was. Like I'd met him a couple of times, and I was like, who is this person? And I knew he was good mates with Ben Clark, who'd been selected for the team, and basically I went through and I selected the best players in the country at that time, and Finn wasn't on there. He was, and it got down to like selecting the 8th person for the team, and I was like, man, who am I going to pick? And Ben goes, you should just pick this Finn. He's really good, like honestly. And I was like, I don't know. He sounds like a scrub to me. I've never, I've never played him. He's never beaten me at an event.
Yeah.
And then I was like, nah. But then I was like, I respected Ben's point of view around Warhammer. He was an extremely good player. And Ben told me that Finn wrote a few of his lists for him, that he, the list that he won New Zealand Masters with and stuff like that. So, okay, that's interesting. I'm like, bugger it, we'll take him. We'll put out what do you call it? We'll just take this guy and see how it goes. And, now he's captain of the New Zealand team. And that wasn't that long ago, that I randomly picked him for this teams event. And I know for a fact that him attending that event gave him a real drive and passion to do better as well. So not saying that that's going to happen with Team New Zealand as such, but, you just, if you don't take your shot, you're going to miss it.
Yep.
So just do it. There's also the ANZTC teams, and I'd highly recommend people to get involved in those as well. So there's a New Zealand North team and a New Zealand South team. I'm the representative for the New Zealand North, and Alex Twice, who's also on Team New Zealand, is a representative for New Zealand South. Twice is the captain for South, Finn's the captain for North. They're a good gateway into getting into the New Zealand team because they give you a massive exposure to 8-man teams events. So, that'd be another area.
They're the only exposure to 8-mans, right? Until you guys run your one.
Yeah, then we'll be running one. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, at the moment they're the only exposure, and again, those are fantastic events if you can get across to them. Really fun, really enjoyable. Apart from the fact that you have to spend 2 days with Aussies, which is a bit shit sometimes.
Nah, they're nice. We like them now.
Yeah, last year was a bit better because Queensland wasn't there. So
shots fired. Shots fired. Well, the onside bar may have had something to do with that too. Yeah.
You've always got to give Queensland grief.
They were there. Ollie was there. We loved Ollie. Yeah. Out of curiosity, how did Finn do at his first ANZTC? Did he smash all the games?
No, he didn't smash all the games. He got Matt Morris all lead one room.
Of course. Just every event he goes to, he gets Matt Morrisoli.
Yeah, he got Matt Morrisoli. No, he was he did better than some of our better players at that event. I just can't recall how well he did off the top of my head, but yeah, he did do all right. And then another interesting thing on that one was that Dan Haydn hadn't been in the scene for a while. Mm-hmm. And he was my first pick, and it created a whole bunch of chaos because people were like, "Oh, why is he getting picked when he's not even ranked in New Zealand?" And this is when we had New Zealand rankings.
Oh, I remember the rankings website. Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, well, because me and him were in a team together in Australia like years ago.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years before that, where we won, and Dan was instrumental in doing the pairings. So we need him because he's the one that actually knows how to do this stuff because I've got no idea. So if we don't have him, we're kind of snookered, so yeah.
So you need a Dan so you can delegate pairings. Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I think that's all the questions that we had for Haydn today.
Yes. Again, same as we have said to all the people that have come here, we really appreciate your time, the effort that you have put to represent New Zealand, going there, all the preparations. So thank you for that. I know you are. I have played against you. I have the pleasure to play and it's always good to see your face around the events. Um, keep it up, especially with Kraken. You lads are doing a really good job. Has changed a lot of things since I arrived here. Before you guys started to do events, and I can see massive changes on the competitive scene and the tournaments, and people trying to aim to that, um, that level. Like, if it's not similar to Kraken, well, what's the point to go? Sometimes it's bad to say, but that's actually also good because you are aiming for better events, and that's more fun. But yeah, thank you for having that. Yeah, letting this time for us. And hopefully you do very well with Aldari. I'm going to be watching you because I'm going to take some notes there. So um, yeah, if the Thunderwolf jail does not keep working, um, I can chief
Back
that.
to Eldari.
What was the experience with that, Haydn, with Thunderwolf jail?
I don't think we
Was
need to
nice?
talk about it. Yeah.
No? Okay,
I
Wait,
good.
mean,
did you play it or did you play against it?
I got played by
Plays
it.
against. He did not play. He tried to survive.
Oh, this was at the Chilli.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The,
okay.
the GT was
Yeah.
a cool game. Hayden took it with very good humor, but I can saw his face and he's like, ah, God damn it, Patricia. Go.
I haven't used those
Yeah.
dice since British, yeah. Those New Zealand dice, I haven't pulled them back out of the car. They've stayed in there. I was just like, they're staying in the car. I don't care anymore. Like, they're gone.
Yeah.
Just
You
fake.
couldn't find your backup dice, man.
No, and I tried my hardest, and I was like, if 3 carnivores can't charge a unit of Thunderwolf calves
Thunderwolf.
and pick up more than 2,
Yeah, that was bad. That turn was
and that wasn't even
really
your
bad.
rolling. That was my roll.
That was his rolling. I did not I actually did not save. So that's why 2 die.
Yeah.
But that's
Right.
because the only thing
So
that hit
on
was,
average, you should have lost 1, is what you're saying.
yes, basically.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty
But yeah,
much.
3
pretty much
carnivores
was
got 2 wounds.
they yeah.
Depending on twos,
Well,
winning on
Hayden
twos.
roll amazing ones and twos.
That
So good.
actually sounds fairly
But
plausible.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, man. Really appreciate your time. We will be hopefully interviewing you when it's back, so you can tell us about your experience over there, and share it with everybody. Yeah, how was that?
Yeah, thank you guys as well for putting on a show that's got a New Zealand flavour to it because yeah, I know how much work has to go on behind the scenes to do it, and how much money you guys must be absolutely, like you guys must be printing out $20 bills by now, right? Every night and just using them to fluff your pillows up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. With our 30
So,
subscribers, it's all good.
yeah. You- You'll get monetized soon. So, no, just thank you for putting in the efforts, guys. I really do appreciate it. So,
Thank you very much, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Hayden.
Well,
Thanks for coming
see
on.
you, Hayden. Bye bye.
Have a great night.
bye bye.
See you. Well, Charlie, that was a
It's
very
Hayden
good interview today.
Korich. Yeah.
Yes, that was Hayden. Thank you for, well, all the lads from WTC, the team, the New Zealand team, has been really um, very nice to be here. We are very grateful for that, because we can bring the story behind them and make sure that people knows all the things that are happening and all that. Therefore, I always said the same, but for me it's important because I know that it's time, when you have family. There is a lot of preparation. There's a lot of things happening in the back scenes that people don't see. Or they just think, people may think, they go because they are friends or whatever. But it's hard work to get to that point. This game it's about that. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. No, I just love hearing everyone's origin stories, how they started. Because we've played with each other in the community a lot. I've played Hayden 2 or 3 times now. We'll probably do another game. And yeah, just he's always played Elder, right? I've always played an Elder, and just knowing that was one of his earliest armies, knowing he used to play Space Marines just tickles me. It's hilarious. Probably Ultramarines, I'm going to say. Hayden's probably an
Yeah,
Ultramarine,
well,
secretly
we did not ask it.
closet
Yeah,
Ultramarines fan.
Ultramarine.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
really great. Hope we get more of the team on here and chat with him.
Yes, we have still two more invites. Is Alex Tosi and Jonty next week.
Mhm.
We are still trying to bring our Captain Finn to here. We're going to shout him and try to throw him under the bus.
If we can't get Finn, he is quite busy. He has done one with Contact Lost, which is quite a good listen. On
Yes,
behalf of Team New Zealand, talking about the WTC and how we feel about going back the second year in the pods. So yeah, if
yes.
you wanna hear Finn give his take on that, just have a check out Contact Lost.
We are going to do also next week a special edition
Oh
for
yes,
reviewing the pods and maybe some of the list for that going against New Zealand. We know already what are the countries. It's Israel,
yes,
Mexico, and
Austria.
Austria.
Austria is
Yeah.
our seed one opponent, so very
Yes.
interesting. Hopefully by then the lists will be out, so we'll be able to go
Yep.
through the list publicly and have a think about what looks strong, what special sauce they've
Yes.
brought, how we
For
think we'll do.
that,
Yeah,
for that episode, we are going to bring our good friend Ryan. So just put the brews on the fridge, so they are all good
yeah, okay.
for him. Yep.
It's all stocked. Yep.
Yes, already. And yeah, I think it's that.
No,
We will be talking about.
we are trying to land
Oh,
one more special episode. The man, the myth, the legend, David Gaylard. Trying
David
to
Gaylag.
get the time zones
Yes.
work, get David on the show, and just introduce him to the New Zealand community because he actually hasn't played in New Zealand,
No.
so no one really knows about his gameplay, when his background and story, because he's only really played the UK scene. So it'd be really great to get him on the show and get the folks at home a bit of insight into Gaylard.
True. 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 True.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. So yeah. That's it. Thank you very much for staying with us. As always, please subscribe to the channel. Support us. We will be bringing more of this. But if you want also, we do something special, we cover something, let us know, comment, and we will try to do our best to get those things out. Yeah,
awesome. Thank you,
cool.
everyone. Thanks for listening.
Say thank you. Good night, Charlie.
Good night,
Have a good
Shizio.
one.
Yeah, ciao.
Sure. Ciao. You want to say something? Stay
Yeah,
spicy.
Michael said, yeah, stay spicy. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, stay spicy. We forgot about that.